First contact and crash landing. The starship Artemis glided silently through the inky void of space, its sleek hull gleaming under the light of distant stars. Inside the medical bay, Dr. Elara Chen methodically organized her equipment, her dark eyes focused intently on the task at hand. As the ship's chief medical officer, she took pride in maintaining a spotless and efficient workspace. A sudden tremor shook the Artemis, causing Elara to stumble. Frowning, she tapped her comm badge. "Bridge, this is Dr. Chen. What's going on up there?" "Sorry about that, Doc," came the strained voice of Captain Vance. "We've encountered some kind of spatial anomaly. Might want to strap in. This could get bumpy." No sooner had Elara secured herself than another violent shudder rocked the ship. Alarms blared as the lights flickered ominously. Through the viewport, she glimpsed a swirling vortex of energy, its tendrils reaching out to envelop the Artemis. "All hands, brace for impact," Vance's voice crackled over the intercom. The ship lurched, and Elara felt a sickening sensation of falling. Her stomach churned as the Artemis was pulled into the vortex. Colors she had never seen before assaulted her senses, and for a moment she feared she might lose consciousness. Then, as suddenly as it began, the turbulence ceased. Elara blinked, disoriented, as she took in her surroundings. The medical bay was in disarray, but miraculously, she appeared unharmed. "Status report," she called out, her training kicking in despite the chaos. Silence greeted her. The ship's systems were offline, and her comm badge produced only static. With growing concern, Elara made her way to the bridge, navigating through darkened corridors and past sparking control panels. The scene that greeted her on the bridge was one of devastation. Consoles smoked, and unconscious crew members lay slumped at their stations. Captain Vance was nowhere to be seen. Through the cracked viewscreen, Elara glimpsed an alien landscape, purplish soil and strange, twisting vegetation beneath a green-tinged sky. They had crash-landed on an unknown world. As Elara tended to her injured colleagues, a flicker of movement outside caught her eye. She froze, scarcely daring to breathe as a figure emerged from the alien foliage. It was distinctly humanoid, but clearly not human. Tall and lithe, with iridescent skin that shifted colors like oil on water, the being regarded the crashed ship with unmistakable curiosity. Elara's scientific mind raced with questions, even as her survival instincts screamed caution. First contact with an alien species, it was the dream of every explorer, but the circumstances were far from ideal. The alien took a tentative step towards the ship, its large, multifaceted eyes blinking in the unfamiliar light. Elara made a split-second decision. Someone needed to represent humanity, to make that crucial first impression. With trembling hands, she keyed in the emergency sequence to open the airlock. The alien atmosphere hit her like a wave, warm and humid, with an oddly metallic tang. Elara raised her hands in what she hoped was a universal gesture of peace as she stepped onto the alien soil. "Hello," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "I come in peace." The alien tilted its head, reminding Elara of a curious bird. Then, to her amazement, it spoke, not in words, but in a melodic series of clicks and whistles that seemed to resonate directly in her mind. "Less than greetings, Skyfallen One. I am Xerix of the Luminae. Your vessel's arrival was..." Unexpected greeter than Elara blinked, struggling to process the fact that she could understand this alien being. "I'm Dr. Elara Chen of the starship Artemis. We didn't mean to come here. There was some kind of anomaly." Xerix's skin rippled with shades of blue and green. "Less than the veil. You passed through the veil." Few survived such a journey greeter than before Elara could ask what the veil meant. A low rumble shook the ground. In the distance, huge shapes moved on the horizon, living mountains that seemed to stride across the landscape. "Less than we must seek shelter," greater than Xerix urged. "Less than the behemoths approach, and they do not differentiate between native and visitor when they feed greeter than." Elara glanced back at the Artemis, torn between her duty to her crew and the immediate threat. As if sensing her dilemma, Xerix placed a surprisingly warm hand on her shoulder. "Less than your people will be safe within their metal shell for now. But you must come with me if you wish to understand this world and find a way to return to your own greater than." With a heavy heart, Elara nodded. She tapped out a quick message on a functioning console, informing any awakening crew members of her decision to go with the alien. Then, casting one last look at the ship that had been her home, she followed Xerix into the alien wilderness. As they trekked through the strange forest, Elara's mind whirled with questions. The vegetation around them seemed to pulse with an inner light, and occasionally she glimpsed small creatures that defied classification scurrying in the undergrowth. "Xerix," she ventured, "you said we passed through the veil. What exactly is that?" The alien's skin shimmered with patterns that Elara was beginning to associate with deep thought. "Less than the veil is a boundary, a division between realities. Your people have not yet discovered it." Greater than Elara shook her head. "We've theorized about parallel universes, but we've never found concrete evidence. Are you saying we've traveled to another dimension?" "Less than in a sense," Greater than Xerix confirmed. "Less than, though it is more accurate to say you have entered a place where dimensions intersect. This world, Nexus, exists at a confluence of realities greater than." The implications were staggering. Elara opened her mouth to ask another question, but was cut short as Xerix held up a hand for silence. The alien's skin had taken on a mottled pattern that blended seamlessly with the surrounding vegetation. "Less than we are not alone," Greater than Xerix whispered directly into Elara's mind. "Less than the Shadeweaver's hunt. We must be cautious." Greater than. As if on cue, a patch of darkness detached itself from a nearby tree, taking on a vaguely humanoid shape. Its edges were blurred, as though it wasn't fully present in this reality. Empty eye sockets fixed on Elara, and she felt a chill run down her spine. Xerix moved with liquid grace, placing themselves between Elara and the threat. The alien's skin erupted in a dazzling display of light, momentarily blinding the shadow creature. "Less than run." Greater than Xerix commanded. Elara didn't need to be told twice. She sprinted through the alien forest, her heart pounding in her ears. Behind her, she could hear the Shadeweaver's unearthly shriek and the sound of Xerix's rhythmic clicks, some kind of defensive sound wave, she realized. Just when Elara thought her lungs might burst, Xerix caught up to her, guiding her towards what looked like a solid rock face. But as they approached, a shimmer in the air revealed a hidden entrance. They dove through, and Elara found herself in a vast underground cavern illuminated by bioluminescent fungi. Panting, she turned to her alien companion. What was that thing?" Xerix's skin had settled into a somber grey tone. "Less than a Shadeweaver. They are not native to this world. They slip through cracks in reality, feeding on the life force of other beings. Your arrival may have drawn its attention." Greater than. Elara felt a pang of guilt. "I'm sorry. We didn't mean to bring danger to your world." The alien's colors shifted to a warmer hue. "Less than do not apologize, Elara of Earth. Your coming was foretold in the ancient songs of my people. Though the path ahead is fraught with peril, your presence here may be the key to saving not just Nexus, but all realities." Greater than. Elara's scientific skepticism warred with the undeniable strangeness of her situation. "Foretold? I don't understand. How can I possibly help? I'm just a doctor, not some prophesied savior." Xerix gestured towards the depths of the cavern, where crystalline structures pulsed with an otherworldly light. "Less than come. There is much you need to learn about the nature of our universe, and the unique qualities that make your species so vital to its preservation." Greater than. As they ventured deeper into the heart of Nexus, Elara couldn't shake the feeling that she had stumbled into something far greater than a mere crash landing on an alien world. The fate of realities hung in the balance, and somehow, improbably, she found herself at the center of it all. The first part of their journey was over, but Elara knew that the true adventure and the true dangers were only just beginning. Survival and discovery. The crystalline caverns of Nexus hummed with an otherworldly energy, sending shivers down Ilara's spine as she followed Zerix deeper into the planet's core. The bioluminescent fungi cast eerie shadows on the walls, creating a dreamlike atmosphere that made Ilara question her own senses. Quantum resonance chambers, Zyrix explained, gesturing to the pulsating crystals around them. They anchor Nexus to the multiverse fabric. Ilara's scientific curiosity overrode her fear. Fascinating. Are you saying these crystals maintain the stability of this intersection of realities? Zyrix's skin rippled with approval. Your grasp of complex concepts is impressive, Ilara of Earth. Yes, but they do more than stabilize. They communicate. As if on cue, a nearby crystal emitted a high-pitched tone. Zyrix's body tensed, that iridescent skin darkening to a deep purple. Danger approaches. We must hasten our journey. They quickened their pace, descending through twisting passages that seemed to defy Euclidean geometry. Ilara's head spun as they traversed loops and spirals that shouldn't have been possible. Non-linear spatial geometry, she muttered, her mind racing to reconcile what she was experiencing with her understanding of physics. Zerix clicked in amusement. Your species teeters on the edge of a grand awakening, Ilara. The universe is far stranger than your current sciences can fathom. Their path opened into a vast chamber, dominated by a colossal structure that defied description. It appeared to be a machine, yet it pulsed with life. Tendrils of energy passed between floating components that shifted and realigned constantly. The Nexus core, Zyrix announced reverently. The heart of our world and the key to the multiverse. Ilara approached, mesmerized by the swirling patterns of light and energy. As she neared, the machine responded, parts of it reconfiguring to face her. A beam of light shot out, enveloping her in a cocoon of data. Memories and knowledge not her own flooded Ilara's mind. She saw the birth of stars, the collision of galaxies, the intricate dance of subatomic particles. But more than that, she perceived the underlying fabric of reality itself, a cosmic tapestry woven from threads of probability and quantum potential. When the light faded, Ilara stumbled, overwhelmed by the influx of information. Zervix steadied her with a gentle touch. What? What just happened? Ilara gasped, her mind reeling. The Nexus core has recognized you, Ilara of Earth. It has gifted you with the cosmic sight, the ability to perceive and manipulate the quantum threads of reality. Ilara looked at her hands, seeing them not just as flesh and bone, but as a complex interplay of energy and possibility. She focused, and to her amazement, small arcs of quantum energy danced between her fingers. This is impossible, she whispered, equal parts terrified and exhilarated. Zerix's skin shimmered with excitement. It is your species' destiny, Ilara. Humans possess a unique quantum neural structure that allows for this connection. You are the bridge between realities. A low rumble interrupted their conversation. The cavern shook, dust and small crystals raining down from above. The Void Eaters approach, Zyrix said grimly. Ancient beings that consume entire realities. Your arrival has accelerated their attack. Ilara's newfound senses tingled with danger. Through the walls of the cavern, she could perceive massive shapes moving with malevolent purpose. What can we do? She asked, surprised by the steadiness in her voice. Zerix gestured to the Nexus core. We must awaken the Guardians, slumbering sentinels created to defend the multiverse. But the process is dangerous and requires a fusion of Luminae and human abilities. Without hesitation, Ilara stepped forward. Tell me what to do. Zerix's skin glowed with admiration. They approached the core together, their hands intertwining. Ilara felt the alien's energy meld with her own, creating a circuit of power. Focus on the threads of reality, Zyrix instructed. Visualize the Guardians, sleeping in the spaces between dimensions. Call to them with your mind and heart. Ilara closed her eyes, reaching out with her new senses. She saw them then, colossal beings of pure energy, dormant but aware. With all her will, she called to them, feeling Zeric's power amplifying her own. The Nexus core pulsed, its rhythm aligning with their combined energies. A great bell-like tone reverberated through the cavern, through reality itself. Ilara felt something vast stirring in response. Suddenly, the cavern wall exploded inward. A writhing mass of darkness poured through the breach. The Void Eaters had arrived. Tentacles of null energy lashed out, hungrily seeking to devour everything in their path. Ilara and Zerix stood their ground, maintaining their connection to the core. As the Void Eaters surged towards them, blinding pillars of light erupted from the ground. The Guardians had awakened. Towering beings of radiant energy took form, their bodies a constantly shifting array of geometric patterns. They moved to engage the Void Eaters, reality itself warping around their battle. "We've done it," Zyrix breathed, their skin a kaleidoscope of relieved colors. But Ilara's elation was short-lived. Her new senses detected a disturbance, a quantum tremor that shook the very foundations of Nexus. "Something's wrong," she said, her voice tight with concern. "The battle between the Guardians and Void Eaters, it's destabilizing the planet's connection to the multiverse." Zyrix's colors paled. If Nexus falls, the damage to the cosmic tapestry could be irreparable. Countless realities would collapse. Ilara's mind raced, processing the vast amounts of information gifted by the core. An idea formed, dangerous, possibly suicidal, but potentially their only hope. "We need to move the battle," she said, her voice gaining confidence. "Away from Nexus, to a neutral point in the multiverse where the conflict won't cause collateral damage." Zerix stared at her, awe evident in their multifaceted eyes. "Such a thing has never been attempted. The energy required would be immense," Ilara finished. "But not impossible, not if we work together." As the battle raged around them, human and alien joined minds once more. Ilara reached out with her cosmic sight, perceiving the quantum filaments that connected Nexus to the greater multiverse. With surgical precision guided by intuition, she began to pluck and reweave those threads. Zyrix provided the knowledge of multiversal topography, guiding Ilara's efforts to a suitable battleground, a dying universe nearing the end of its natural life cycle. The strain was immense. Ilara felt as though her very atoms were being torn apart and reassembled with each passing second. But she persevered, driven by the knowledge that failure meant the end of everything. With a final, monumental effort, Ilara pulled the quantum strings taut. Reality itself seemed to hesitate for a heartbeat, and then the Guardians, Void Eaters, and the space they occupied vanished, translocated to the chosen battlefield universes away. The sudden absence of their conflict left an eerie silence in the cavern. Ilara collapsed, physically and mentally exhausted. Zerlix caught her, their touch cool and comforting. "You've done it, Ilara of Earth," the alien whispered, all evident in their tone. "You've saved Nexus, and with it, the multiverse." As Ilara drifted on the edge of consciousness, she became aware of new presences entering the cavern. The crystalline walls sparkled with increased intensity, and a chorus of melodic tones filled the air. "The Luminae Elders come to witness the prophecy fulfilled," Xylix explained softly. "Rest now, Ilara. Your journey has only just begun." Ilara managed a weak smile before succumbing to exhaustion. As darkness claimed her, she knew that her life, and the fate of all realities, had been irrevocably changed. The true scope of her destiny was yet to reveal itself, but one thing was certain: the adventure that lay ahead would challenge everything she thought she knew about the universe and her place within it. Quantum entanglement and cosmic awakening. Ilara awoke to a symphony of colors and sounds unlike anything she had ever experienced. Her newfound cosmic sight allowed her to perceive the very fabric of reality pulsing around her. The Luminae Elders, beings of pure light and thought, hovered nearby, their forms constantly shifting in mesmerizing patterns. Less than the Nexus hair awakens, greater than a collective thought resonated through her mind. Less than the time of convergence is upon us greater than. Zervix stood beside her, their iridescent skin shimmering with excitement and trepidation. Ilara, the elders wish to show you something. Are you ready? Taking a deep breath, Ilara nodded. I'm ready. The cavern dissolved around them, replaced by a vast cosmic tapestry. Ilara gasped as she found herself floating in a sea of interconnected realities. Each universe was a shimmering bubble, teeming with life and possibility. Less than behold the omniversal lattice, greater than the elders' thoughts echoed. Less than the grand design that connects all of existence, greater than Ilara's scientific mind, raced to comprehend the scale of what she was witnessing. It's beautiful, she breathed. But something's wrong, isn't it? Zervix nodded grimly. Observe closely. Focusing her cosmic sight, Ilara noticed dark tendrils creeping between the universes, slowly corrupting the vibrant tapestry. The Void Eaters, she realized. They're spreading. Less than yes, greater than the elders confirmed. Less than the battle you shifted has bought us time, but the threat remains. The Void Eaters seek to unravel the very fabric of the multiverse greater than, but why? Ilara asked, her voice filled with both curiosity and dread. Zervix's colors darkened. They are beings of anti-creation, Ilara. Their nature compels them to unmake all that exists. A holographic projection appeared before them, showing a spiral of energy that Ilara recognized as DNA, but far more complex than anything she had seen before. Less than this is the cosmic helix, greater than the elders explained. Less than the fundamental code that underlies all reality. Your species, humans, possess a unique variation of this code. It allows you to manipulate the quantum structure of the multiverse in ways even we cannot, greater than Ilara's mind, reeled with the implications. That's why I was able to move the battle, but I'm just one person. How can I possibly stand against something that threatens all of existence? Zervix placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. You won't stand alone, Ilara. The prophecy speaks of the quantum conclave, a gathering of beings from across the multiverse, each with unique abilities. Together, you may be able to stop the Void Eaters once and for all. As if on cue, the cosmic view around them shifted. Ilara saw glimpses of other worlds, other realities. In each, a being of extraordinary power stood out, their essence resonating with her own. The conclave members, she whispered in awe. Less than yes, greater than the elders confirmed. Less than but they must be awakened to their true potential, just as you were. This is your task, Nexus Heir. You must journey across the multiverse, find these beings, and help them unlock their cosmic heritage greater than the enormity of the mission threatened to overwhelm Ilara. But as she looked at the corrupting tendrils of the Void Eaters, she knew she had no choice. The fate of all reality hung in the balance. I'll do it, she said, her voice steady with newfound determination. But I'll need help. Zervix's skin rippled with pride. I will accompany you, Ilara. My knowledge of the multiverse will aid your journey. The Elder's approval radiated through the cosmic space. Less than we shall provide you with the Nexus Key, an artifact that will allow you to traverse the barriers between realities greater than. A small crystalline object materialized before Ilara. As she grasped it, she felt its power resonate with her own. The key pulsed with potential, ready to unlock doorways across the multiverse. There's just one thing, Ilara said, a pang of guilt in her heart. My crew, my ship, they're still stranded on Nexus. I can't abandon them. The Elder's thoughts turned somber. Less than time flows differently across the multiverse, Nexus Heir. What may be a great journey for you could pass in mere moments for your crew. But know this, your actions will determine whether they, and countless others, have a future to return to greater than. Ilara nodded, understanding the weight of her responsibility. Then let's begin. Where do we go first? Zervix interfaced with the Nexus Key, causing a holographic map of the multiverse to spring forth. Our first destination is a reality designated Earth Omega. There we must find the Chrono Weaver, a being with a power to manipulate time itself. As Ilara prepared herself for the journey ahead, The cosmic tapestry around them began to shift and swirl. The Nexus key glowed brightly, responding to her intent. "Remember, Ilara," Xyrix cautioned, "each reality we visit will have its own laws of physics, its own dangers. We must be cautious." Ilara took a deep breath, centering herself. She thought of her crew, of Earth, of all the countless lives hanging in the balance. With a surge of determination, she activated the Nexus key. Reality itself seemed to fold around them. Ilara felt a sensation of falling through infinite dimensions, her very atoms seeming to scatter and reassemble. Colors beyond human comprehension flashed before her eyes. Then, with a thunderous crack, they materialized in a new world. Ilara gasped as she took in her surroundings. The sky was a deep crimson, crisscrossed with lines of energy that pulsed like veins. Massive clock towers dotted the landscape, their hands spinning at impossible speeds. "Welcome to Earth Omega," Xyrix said, their skin adapting to match the strange environment, home of the Chrono Weaver. As they stepped forward into this new reality, Ilara felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. The first step of their cosmic journey had begun, and with it, the race to save the multiverse from unraveling. In the distance, a figure wreathed in temporal energy watched their arrival. The Chrono Weaver had been expecting them, for in this realm, past, present, and future were one. The pieces were falling into place, and the true battle for existence was about to begin. Ilara squared her shoulders, ready to face whatever challenges this strange new world might bring. The fate of all realities now rested on her shoulders, and she was determined not to fail. With Xyrix by her side and the power of the Nexus key at her command, she took her first steps into adventure beyond imagination. The quantum conclave awaited, and with it, the key to either salvation or oblivion for all of existence. Temporal tides and the quantum forge. The crimson sky of Earth Omega pulsed with chronal energy as Ilara and Xyrix made their way through a landscape that defied conventional physics. Gravity shifted unpredictably, causing objects to float or crash down at random intervals. The air itself seemed to ripple with temporal distortions, occasionally revealing glimpses of past and future events. "This reality is highly unstable," Xylix observed, their skin flickering through rapid-fire color changes to adapt to the fluctuating environment. "The Chrono Weaver's presence has caused severe temporal fractures." Ilara nodded, her newly enhanced senses overwhelmed by the cacophony of time itself. "How do we find them in all this chaos?" As if in answer, a massive clock tower before them began to warp and twist. Its metallic surface flowed like liquid, reforming into a towering humanoid figure. The Chrono Weaver had revealed itself. Less than Nexus hair, greater than a voice echoed through time rather than space. Less than your arrival was foreseen, yet unexpected. A paradox, much like myself greater than. Ilara stepped forward, fighting against conflicting gravitational forces. "We've come to. Less than to recruit me for your quantum conclave, greater than the Chrono Weaver finished. Less than a noble endeavor, yet one doomed to failure across a million timelines greater than." "But not all timelines," Ilara countered, her voice steady despite the chronal chaos surrounding them. "There must be a path to victory, or you wouldn't have revealed yourself to us." The Chrono Weaver's form shimmered, showing glimpses of countless possible futures, less than perceptive. "Yes, there exists a singular thread of probability where your mission succeeds. But the cost, greater than." Suddenly, the world around them exploded into temporal fury. Waves of past and future crashed together, threatening to tear reality apart. "What's happening?" Ilara shouted over the din of colliding timelines. Less than the Void Eater's approach, greater than the Chrono Weaver's voice boomed. "Less than they seek to devour this reality's temporal energy. We must act swiftly." Greater than. Xyrix's form began to destabilize, the extreme temporal fluctuations threatening to erase them from existence. Ilara, the Nexus key. Realizing the danger, Ilara grasped the crystalline artifact. It pulsed with power, resonating with her own quantum-infused DNA. Acting on instinct, she thrust the key toward the heart of the temporal maelstrom. A beam of pure possibility erupted from the key, carving a path of stability through the chaos. The chronoweaver's eyes widened in surprise. Less than impossible. You've created a quantum anchor in the eye of a temporal storm. Perhaps the prophecies underestimated you. Nexus hair greater than... Elara grinned despite the strain. Less talking or helping. We need to seal this reality before the Void Eaters break through. The chronoweaver nodded, its form coalescing into a more defined shape. Together, they began to weave a temporal barrier, using Elara's quantum anchor as a foundation. Xerx, recovered from the temporal attack, added their own unique energy to the mix. We need more power. The barrier won't hold. Elara's mind raced. Then, a wild idea struck her. The clock towers. They're conduits for temporal energy, right? We can use them to amplify our efforts. Less than risky, greater than the chronoweaver cautioned. Less than channeling that much chronal force could shatter the local space-time continuum greater than. We don't have a choice, Elara insisted. Xerix, can you establish a resonance field between the towers? The alien nodded, that iridescent skin pulsing with determination. Consider it done. As Xerix worked their own brand of multi-dimensional science, Elara focused on expanding the quantum anchor. The chronoweaver, seeing her plan, began to synchronize the temporal energies of the clock towers. The air crackled with unimaginable power. Reality itself groaned under the strain of their efforts. Just as it seemed the world would tear itself apart, everything snapped into alignment. A dome of shimmering chronal energy encased the entire planet, sealing it off from the Void Eater's assault. The chaotic temporal fluxes stabilized, settling into a harmonious flow. Less than remarkable, greater than the chronoweaver mused. Less than in all my visions of possible futures, I never foresaw this outcome greater than. Elara breathed a sigh of relief, but her moment of triumph was short-lived. The Nexus key pulsed urgently, warning of danger in other realities. This was just the beginning, she realized aloud. The Void Eaters will target other vulnerable dimensions. We need to gather the rest of the quantum conclave. The chronoweaver's form rippled with newfound resolve. Less than then I shall join your cause, Nexus Hair. My mastery of a time may prove crucial in the battles to come. Greater than. Xerix approached, their skin glowing with a mix of exhaustion and excitement. Where to next, Elara? Consulting the Nexus key, Elara saw visions of a world of pure energy beings, locked in an eternal dance of creation and destruction. We seek the quantum flux next, a being of pure possibility, capable of rewriting the laws of physics themselves. As they prepared to journey to the next reality, the chronoweaver held up a hand. Less than before we depart, there is something you must know, Elara of Earth. Your actions here have set in motion events that will ripple across the multiverse. The Void Eaters will redouble their efforts to stop us. Greater than. Elara nodded grimly. Then we'll just have to stay one step ahead of them. Everyone ready? With a chorus of agreement, Elara activated the Nexus key once more. The world around them began to dissolve, reality itself parting like a curtain to reveal the swirling chaos of the multiverse. As they hurtled through the quantum foam between dimensions, Elara caught glimpses of other worlds, other possibilities. She saw versions of Earth ravaged by war, blessed with utopian peace, and everything in between. The weight of her mission pressed down upon her. The fate of all these realities, and countless more, rested on their success. With a flash of searing light, they materialized in a realm of pure energy. Beings of living lightning danced around them, their very movements altering the fabric of reality. The flux dimension, Xerix breathed in awe. Few corporeal beings have ever witnessed this plane of existence. Before Elara could respond, a voice that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere addressed them. Intruders from the solid realms, why do you trespass in the domain of the quantum flux? Elara stepped forward, her own body beginning to shimmer with ethereal energy as it adapted to this new reality. We come seeking the quantum flux's aid. The multiverse stands on the brink of annihilation. A surge of lightning coalesced before them, taking on a vaguely humanoid shape. The Void Eater's threat is known to us, but it is not our concern. The cycle of creation and destruction is the natural order. Natural order be damned, Ilara countered, her voice charged with determination. If the Void Eaters succeed, there will be nothing left to cycle. No creation, only eternal void. The quantum fluxus form flickered, considering her words. You speak with conviction, Nexus Hair. But what can one human, even one touched by cosmic power, hope to achieve against such a force? In response, Ilara raised the Nexus key. It pulsed with power, resonating with the very essence of the flux dimension. I don't stand alone. Together, we have the power to rewrite the story of existence itself. Will you join us? As the quantum flux contemplated their offer, Ilara felt a tremor run through reality. The Void Eaters had found them, but tendrils of anti-creation already reaching into this dimension of pure possibility. The battle for the multiverse was about to enter a new phase, and Ilara knew that every decision, every alliance forged, would tip the cosmic scales between salvation and oblivion. With the Chrono Weaver at her side and the power of the Nexus key in her grasp, she steeled herself for the challenges ahead. The quantum conclave was growing, and with it, hope for all of existence. But the true test of their newfound alliance was yet to come, as the shadows of the void loomed ever larger on the horizon of reality itself. Singularity Cascade and the Omniversal Fulcrum. The flux dimension shuddered as the first tendrils of void energy began to seep through the quantum fabric. Ilara, Xerix, and the Chrono Weaver stood their ground, the Nexus key pulsing with urgent power in Ilara's grasp. We're out of time, Ilara declared, her voice cutting through the crescendo of reality-warping energies. Quantum flux, we need your decision now. The being of pure energy crackled and sparked, its form expanding to encompass the group. Very well, Nexus Hair. Your conviction has swayed us. We shall lend our power to your cause. No sooner had the words been spoken than the dimension began to collapse around them. The Void Eater's assault had breached the outer layers of reality, threatening to unravel the very laws of physics that governed this realm. Quickly, Xerix urged, that iridescent skin flashing warning patterns. We must reach the Omniversal Fulcrum before the void consumes this dimension. Ilara's mind raced. The what? The Chrono Weaver's form shimmered, showing glimpses of a colossal structure at the heart of the multiverse, the nexus point of all realities. From there, we might yet turn the tide against the Void Eaters. With a nod of understanding, Ilara raised the Nexus key. Then let's make our stand there. Everyone, brace yourselves. As the key activated, reality itself seemed to fold inward. The group was pulled through layers of existence, each more mind-bending than the last. Ilara caught glimpses of worlds where thought itself was tangible, realms of pure mathematics, and dimensions that defied description. They materialized on a vast platform suspended in a sea of swirling cosmic energies. The Omniversal Fulcrum loomed before them, a massive, ever-shifting structure that seemed to be made of pure possibility. By the cosmic winds, Xerix breathed, their voice filled with awe. The legends were true. But there was no time for wonder. The Void Eaters had followed them, their tendrils of anti-creation spreading across the cosmic tapestry that surrounded the fulcrum. We need a plan, Ilara said, her voice steady despite the overwhelming odds. How do we use this place to stop them? The quantum flux, now a swirling vortex of energy beside them, spoke in a voice that resonated through multiple dimensions. The fulcrum can rewrite the fundamental laws of the multiverse, but to do so requires unimaginable power and precision. Which is where we come in, the Chrono Weaver added, its form elongating to interface with the fulcrum's temporal matrices. Each of us represents a fundamental force of reality. Together, we might reshape existence itself. Ilara nodded, a plan forming in her mind. We create a new cosmic law, one that makes the Void Eater's very existence impossible. A daring strategy, Xyrex cautioned, but the risks are immense. One miscalculation could erase all of reality. It's a risk we have to take, Ilara declared. She turned to address her unlikely allies. Quantum Flux, you'll provide the raw power. Chrono Weaver, you'll ensure temporal stability across all realities. Xyrex, your multidimensional knowledge will guide the restructuring. And I'll use the Nexus key to anchor it all. As they moved into position, the Void Eaters launched their final assault. Reality buckled under the strain, entire universes winking out of existence with each passing moment. Ilara raised the Nexus key, feeling the weight of all creation upon her shoulders. Now. Power surged through her, unlike anything she had ever experienced. She saw the underlying code of the multiverse laid bare before her, an infinitely complex tapestry of quantum strings and probability waves. With surgical precision guided by instinct, Ilara began to rewrite the cosmic program. The quantum flux poured limitless energy into her efforts, while the Chrono Weaver stabilized the temporal fluctuations caused by such a massive restructuring. Xyrex's consciousness expanded, touching every corner of the multiverse to ensure the changes propagated correctly. "It's working," they called out, their voice echoing across dimensions. The Void Eaters are losing their grip on reality. But the strain was immense. Ilara felt her very being start to unravel under the pressure of wielding such cosmic power. Just when it seemed she might be torn apart, a familiar presence touched her mind. "You are not alone, Ilara of Earth," came the collective voice of the Luminae Elders. Across the multiverse, beings of every shape and form added their will to hers. The crew of the Artemis, still stranded on Nexus, somehow sensed her struggle and lent their strength. With a final, reality-shaking surge of effort, Ilara completed the cosmic recoding. A shockwave of creation rippled out from the omniversal fulcrum, washing away the Void Eaters as if they had never existed. As the new laws of reality settled into place, Ilara collapsed, physically and mentally exhausted. Xyrex caught her, their touch cool and comforting. "You've done it," they whispered in awe. "You've saved the multiverse." The Chrono Weaver's form solidified, more stable than ever before. Not just saved it, transformed it. The multiverse is entering a new age of cosmic harmony. The quantum flux swirled around them joyously. The possibilities are endless now. New forms of life, new dimensions of thought, all thanks to your actions, Nexus Hair. As Ilara regained her strength, she gazed out at the transformed cosmic landscape. Universes that had been on the brink of destruction now pulsed with vibrant energy. New realities were being born every second, each one a testament to the infinite potential of existence. "So what happens now?" she asked, still coming to terms with the scope of what they had achieved. The omniversal fulcrum hummed with newfound purpose, and a shimmering portal appeared before them. "Now," Xyrex said with a smile, "we guide the multiverse into this new age. There is much work to be done, many wonders to explore." Ilara nodded, a mix of excitement and trepidation filling her. She thought of her crew, of Earth, of all the countless beings across reality who would never know how close they had come to oblivion. "I'm ready," she declared, standing tall. As they stepped through the portal towards an uncertain but boundless future, Ilara knew that her journey was far from over. The multiverse had been reborn, and with it her own destiny had been rewritten. The Nexus Hair and her allies vanished into the shimmering gateway, leaving behind a cosmos forever changed by their actions. The greatest adventure in the history of reality had only just begun, with infinite possibilities stretching out before them across the newly harmonized multiverse.